Cool.
Okay.
So, yeah, welcome to Creative Conversations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us. I'm here today to ask you, well, first, congratulations on your anniversary.
Thank you.
How did you celebrate it? How did you celebrate?
That's a good question. I think, not in any big way, but I think the celebration is just being here in the new office and coming together again and joining the Grey D&D club. So I've been making my character this week, which has been really, really fun and really nerdy. Nothing too big. The celebration is just being able to be together, I think, after so long.
Yeah, cool. What is that? What is that little character doing? What's the character you're talking about?
So creating a Dungeons and Dragons character. We've got
D&D.
Yeah,
Serious?
Dungeons and Dragons club.
Oh, that's pretty cool. They're long games.
Yeah, they are long games. We are doing a particular kind of mission, which means you can drop in and out if you happen to be busy. You're just taking a rest in the local pub. So it makes it a little bit easier for me to actually get in there and play.
Oh, fantastic, cool. Yeah. And to talk a bit about being a WPP-owned agency, in this sort of time of huge change in jeopardy, how would you define your role in your first year?
I think my role in my first year has been, it's been really interesting and really quite exciting. I think obviously I joined during COVID and took this new role during COVID, and there was a lot of work to be done here, both with my Chief Creative Officer hat on, really ramping up the quality of the work. But then with my President hat on, and actually kind of the reason that I moved into that joint role is looking at the things that underpin the making of great work. I said, on my first day here, I'm not here to make the best work of my life, I'm here to make everyone else make the best work of their lives. And there's a lot that had to be done kind of structurally, financially, in terms of our process and operations to really allow that to happen. Every agency I've been at that has done exceptional work, there has been, I won't say it's a formula, but there has been a feeling in the air, there's a way of being, there's that creative energy, there's, that kind of feeling of being, what I say to the team here, feeling of all being a pirate crew heading out into the creative unknown with excitement rather than fear. And I would like to think that actually that building that culture not only allows you to kind of change and move without fear and take on new opportunities or whatever happens, but it does lead to better work. Everyone's really clear, they know what their roles are, everyone's roles are important, we're all in it together, we're going to go adventuring. So I've really spent a lot of time doing that, as I said, building the culture, putting the backbone of the processes, the framework, the operational stuff in place, making sure that it's not just me, obviously I've got a brilliant sort of team here, making sure financially we're doing okay. And that gets everyone into a place where they go into briefs with excitement. And then if you're going into briefs with excitement and you're not afraid of the client and you're not afraid of what's happening around you, you do really exciting work. That's been really enjoyable actually to be able to do, and I don't think I would have had the opportunity to do it in such a way if everything hadn't been upturned anyway because of COVID. Literally there was no normal way of doing things, so it was a lot easier for me to come in and go, well, why don't we just totally change the way we do X or Y and see how it works.
Yeah. Do you think being a creative leader sort of give you an edge in that sort of regard then? That because it's quite rare for a creative to become a head of an agency.
Yeah.
But do you think that's kind of giving you a bit of a...
I think it's good because I really have a deep understanding of everything end to end, and I have a really deep understanding of the product, and I know as a creative what it takes to make great work, and those conditions that have to be around you in order for you to be able to do it. So I think that has helped hugely, and I think maybe I also approach things from a different point of view. Creativity is all about problem solving at the end of the day, and being able to come at a more operational problem or a structural problem with a creative hat on is, it's an interesting way to run an agency, I think.
Yeah. I think it's World Economic Forum have said that creativity is the skill of the future for quite a few years now, I guess. So it's almost like they knew what was going to happen.
Actually, it's something that now we're replicating across the network.
Yeah.
So Francie, who's my counterpart in Germany. She's got the dual role, and I think, you know, we're looking more and more at the, you know, John Petroulis, who's the creative chairman, very much has one foot in the business and, you know, one foot in the creative. And actually, the Global Creative Council are very responsible for the shape of the business as well as just the work.
Yeah. And so, what differentiates Grey in your mind within the WPP portfolio?
You know, I would say within this portfolio, you know, I'm going to say that we're super creative. Of course, I would.
Yeah.
But I think the one thing is the size. We feel like a big boutique agency in a network. Not, you know, I mean, Ogilvy make great work. You know, all the different parts of WPP make great work. But we're, you know, we're compact. We are like a little pirate crew. We are the guys kind of, you know, going off in the other direction. I think it allows us to take more risks, which is really, you know, which is an exciting place to be, right? And I think, you know, having AKQA there as the sister agency as well, who also, I have to say, their attention to detail and their craft is like just banging.
Yeah, I worked there for a few years.
It's nice to be kind of part of that stable, because I feel like this stable is, you know, it's really about like the craft and the creativity, and hopefully, you know, that will continue.
So let's talk about that. So, what comes to your mind? What has been said about the Grey London merger you think is correct? What's incorrect? What's going on with that stuff?
That's a really good question, because I think, unfortunately, when it got out the gates, it was really misrepresented, and actually it was awfully represented from Grey's point of view. It was like RIP Grey. You know, we're part of AKQA Group, of which AKQA is an agency. You saw AKQA Bloom launch today. You know, there are mobile agencies in there, there's architecture firms, there's product design. You know, there are a lot of agencies within that group, including, you know, organisations that are part of the Grey Group that have been brought in, like Tank, which is our, you know, kind of pharma healthcare side. So we're kind of, I'd say, like we're two sisters under the same umbrella in the rain. We help each other out a lot. Certainly we have different kind of levels of expertise in different areas. We work together sometimes on clients, like on Volvo, it's like very much an integrated team. On Helly Hansen, you know, we're very much kind of working as one, even though we're two distinct agencies. And then on other, you know, clients or projects, we don't work together at all, because there's no need for those specialist skills. But, you know, I have massive respect for those guys, and I've known them since they started. Coming from a digital, you know, place myself, I've kind of known Ajaz since day dot, so it's almost like lovely to be part of that team.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I've got a theoretical question for you, and it starts with, we'll say the business growth is less than you would want it to be, and there are two large opportunities in front of you. One of them is large in revenue but completely devoid of purpose, while the other is large only in terms of significance and purpose. Which one do you pick and why?
No, I think that's a really good question, and what I would say, because, you know, I wear both these hats, is the first thing I would do is like research and study both of those opportunities to see what there really was. You know, I don't believe that there is ever a brief that's devoid of purpose. You know, and even on a client that is sometimes seen as difficult or maybe not quite right, there's always like space for actually creating really positive change within that organisation, potentially, if the brief is right. And on the other side, brilliant, but you can't sink the livelihoods of, you know, 250 people by going after something just because it's really exciting. So I think you do have to find a balance, and that's, you know, that's something that you do have to have when you're wearing both hats. But, you know, we've turned down big briefs here in the last 6 months, you know, specifically because after doing that research and digging in underneath, we realised that there was no way to do something really positive with the particular client or the framework that we were asked to play in. So, you know, we didn't go for it.
So, did you find that clients became more insular during the pandemic in a way, or was it the complete opposite? I don't know.
Look, I think I've seen both. In some ways, the relationships have never been closer because you're speaking to a client in their living room with their kids on their lap, or you know, all of that stuff. So there's a breaking down of that kind of business relationship, which has been really good, I think. but the separation has meant that the collaboration is harder. So we had a face-to-face, like, proper workshop with one of our giant clients yesterday, and it was so fun to do it in the room and have the work up on the walls, and we were all like drawing and, you know, kind of crossing stuff out and getting to a really, really interesting point really quickly, whereas, you know, we have spent the last 6 months just amending PowerPoints, and it's been going quite slowly. So I think there's, you know, there's benefits of both. But I do like the fact that I've got to know my clients' families and kids and dogs and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, fair enough. And I've got a few friendlier sort of questions at the end here about just in general, what is your sort of creative muse, or who is your creative muse if you're looking for some sort of inspiration in your life?
Yeah, look, I always fall back on music, actually. I think, you know, first and foremost, like, music is the thing that has always gotten me excited, filled me full of emotion, helped me find great ideas. Even when I'm writing presentations and I get stuck, I might actually start with looking at song titles and, like, going in some weird lateral way backwards into what it is that I'm actually trying to say. But, you know, music, absolutely. And I would say if I had to choose a muse, it would probably be Nick Cave.
Yeah, very cool.
You know, again, because he's been someone that I've absolutely loved since I was probably about 14 years old. So.
Fair enough. And what is the best piece of grey work out so far this year in your view, your favourite?
Oh my God, it's like saying which of your children is favourite. It takes so much effort to get a great piece of work out into the world. You get so emotionally attached to them all.
Yeah.
But I would say, I think the thing I'm most proud of is actually a piece of work that we did with Brooke, the sexual health charity here in the UK, and it actually came from two of my. So our creative department here is way over 50% female. And a lot of them were seeing over the course of COVID that they were just being sent so many dick pics, like constant dick pics. And they were all getting really frustrated. And so over summer last year, we ran a kind of a proactive process, and we were working through. Oh, sorry, that's so loud now. I think my favourite piece of current work, stuff that's gone out this year, like as in the first 3 months of this year, has got to be a piece of work that we did for Brooke, who's the sexual kind of wellness, well-being charity. They do a lot of work with young people and young adults. And it was to get cyber flashing banned. Where the idea came from, and this is the reason that I'm really proud, is, you know, we've got a really diverse and creative department, and as part of that, we have way over 50% of the people in the creative department are women. And all of the women in the department were kind of saying the same thing, like, we just keep on being sent so many dick pics. It's gone through the roof during COVID. Something about lockdown has meant we just get sent pictures of dicks constantly, even on LinkedIn. I mean, it's really gross. And so we thought, you know, there's a real issue here to be solved. There's an issue that's affecting my staff and it's kind of upsetting them. It's sexual assault, right? To get a picture like that, it's awful, and it's really uncomfortable, and it's all to do with power. And why don't we, you know, do something about it? So, you know, starting kind of summer last year, we worked through the problem with the client and got to a really brilliant piece of work that almost let you feel a little bit of what it's like to receive a dick pic, but in a really, I guess, non-triggering way. So amazing, beautiful illustrations of bros, you know, in classic poses taking a picture of their dick, but where the dick was, there's a QR code, which luckily for us is now used everywhere because of COVID, so it's a really good way to transmit the message. You wouldn't flash someone in real life, it's illegal to flash someone in real life, why not online? You take a picture, or you open up your camera on the QR code, it takes you straight to a page where you can tweet your local MP to get it banned. That really took off. We got a load of traction around it. And it resulted in it being picked up by a couple of MPs, Conservative MPs actually, and brought into Parliament and written into law.
Wow.
And Dean Dorries spoke about it last week, and she even used an image from our campaign, which is really awesome. Wow. And Faye Jones said our campaign line in Parliament. And it's now on its way to the House of Lords. So we're like, that for me, I'm super proud of, because that's like proper positive change that is going to hopefully, you know, as we move into the metaverse and there are more and more online interactions, we've now got something in law to protect people who, you know, it's not just women, but it's, you know, very often kind of women, and I'm very proud of my team for that one.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for spending the time with us.
It's such a pleasure. Thank you.
See you soon.
Yeah, thank you.